Hello student, in this video I am going to discuss about testing process involved in a system analysis and design. Here you can see a diagram where basically there are different levels of testings are there. Basically initially we go for unit testing where subsystem codes are tested. Then these unit testings, after getting the results, tested subsystems are integrated. Then they try to do the integration testing. At the time of integration testing, they try to create the system design, or they try to use the system design document. And after integration, they try to go for requirement analysis document. Using the requirement analysis document, they try to do the functional test using the user manual also. So after this completion of functional test, then only they can go for functioning or deploying of the actual application. So all tests, these things can be done by developer. So basically after the functioning system is getting the functioning system, that can be done a performance test, getting the global requirements. After performance test, validating the system, it will go for an acceptance test, that is client's understanding of requirements. By getting this information, they try to do the acceptance test. Till then this is test done by developer, but this acceptance test and installation test will be done by client using user environment. Try to do the installation test, that then only you can go for, that is at that time only you can say that the system is usable. And after that system is in use, user is understanding the system. So that is the deploying situations. So there are various levels in the testing, that is V model. This is a V model, level of abstraction. Analysis and design phase is this way: system requirements, software requirements, primary design, and the detailed design, code and debug. But here you can see the testing is in different way. For code and debug, that is unit testing, but for detailed design there will be component testing. For preliminary design, that is software integration part. Software requirements, that is acceptance testing. System requirements, that is system integration. So test and integration, this is analysis and design. So your test plan should consist of this type of things. It should cover all types and phases of testings, guide the entire process, who, why, when and what, developed as requirements, functional and specification and high level design are developed, should be done before implementation start. So the test planning should start before the implementation, and also it should be like it developed as requirements, functional specification, high level designs are developed, guides the entire testing process. This test plan should guide the entire testing process. You need to question who, why, when, what. This type of question need to be addressed. Covers all types and phases of the testings. And test plan includes test objectives. What are the objectives you are going to test? Schedule and logistics, test strategies, test cases, procedures, data, expected results, procedures for handling problems. There might problems occur, then how can you handle those problems? So there are also fault handling techniques. So you can go for fault avoidance or fault detection or fault tolerance. To avoid the fault, we can go for design methodology, we can go for reviews, we can go for verification and configuration management, that is fault avoidance. If we do the design methodology properly, if we verify the software or system properly, if we configure the management properly, or if you review the product properly, then we can avoid the fault. We can tolerate the fault also, that is atomic transactions or modular redundancy, that can be understood in case using the database concepts or other concepts also. But mainly we can, at this point we can tolerate the fault that is happening inside of a system or using a system. In case of fault detection, we try to detect the fault by using testing procedure or by using debugging procedure. For testing procedure, we go for unit testing and integration testing and system testing. But for debugging, we try to go for correctness debugging and we go for performance debugging. Means we try to find out error syntax or error codes in case of correctness debugging, or in case of performance debugging, we try to find out redundant code or some extra lines of codes which might not be needed in the code, or some extra efforts that we are giving in the making the software but which should not be there. Those things can be removed so that performance can be increased. That type of debugging can be done in case of performance debugging. So we'll mostly discuss about this testing phase in this module. In case of quality assurance, encompasses testing like if we go with the fault avoidance, we can go for verification and configuration management, or reviews can be through walking through or inspection. Fault detections is already described in the previous one. And also fault tolerance, atomic transactions, and modular redundancy. By removing the modular redundant modules or atomic transactions, creating atomic transactions. And usability testing is like scenario testing, prototype testing, or product testing. So using this type of scenario, we can assure the quality of our product. So we can start with the names of the testing, that is unit testing, or we can say individual subsystem testings. It is carried by the developers, and the goal is to confirm that subsystem is correctly coded and carries out the intended functionality. In case of integration testing, groups of subsystems and subsystems collected, or we can say collection of classes, and eventually the entire system, and this is done by the developers itself. And it is the goal of this integration testing is to test the interface among the subsystem. Next name is system testing. System testing here is, we can say, validation testing also. In case of system testing, we try to test the entire system. It is carried out by developers, and goal is to determine if the system meets the requirements, whether it is functional or global. Acceptance testing is two kinds of acceptance testing are there. Evaluates the system delivered by developers. Whatever system delivered by developers need to be tested and will be tested by the, or will be carried out by the client, and may involve executing typical transactions on site on a trial basis. In that user or the client will do some trial input. By that way they will try to understand the acceptance testing, and goal of acceptance testing is that demonstrate that system meets customer requirements and is ready to use. Next, implementation and testing. Implementation and testing go hand in hand, means coding and testing always go parallelly. That is very important point to note here. So we'll go more in detail about unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testings in upcoming videos. This is just an overview I have given in this video. Try to go through it and try to also understand the basic requirements of testings and these models, and through the books available. And if you find any difficulties, please let me know. I'll try to resolve those doubts over Google Meet. Or if you want to add something else, then also you can let me know. We can talk through Google Meet. Basically, so that's it. Thank you.